Hello and welcome to 1 Hour SaaS. My name is Mubashir Iqbal. Everybody calls me Mubs, and this is hour 14 of building a SaaS business. I always forget to switch, so let's do that. Today, this is hour 14. Today I worked on adding the iTunes API search for a podcast into the podcast creation process. I think things went a little bit rough because I was hoping to use a library that I'd used in the past on PodHunt. And after doing a quick search for that in Google, in GitHub, I found that the repository has been archived and it's now read-only, which probably means it still works because I don't think the iTunes API has changed that much over the years. But I obviously felt a little bad about using an API or a package that was not actively maintained anymore. I did a quick bit of searching and I couldn't really find anything for PHP or for Laravel that was actively maintained or anything like that. So instead of using a package, I read over the API docs here, which I haven't looked at in a while, but I've used them in both PodHunt and in interview.io. I think in interview I actually wrote everything from scratch because there was no package at the time when I built that particular website. And I realized we only really need to access a really small part of this because we're just going to be searching and we're going to looking in specifically in podcasts and we want to pull back that info instead. So I wrote a very, very simple packet of class here that all it does is it just runs a search where we can pass in the query that we're searching for. Turned out to be much less weight than including a package which has got lots of functionality that you don't use. May well still at some point in the future make the call that it's better to use a maintained package than something, because I have to now keep a track of what this URL is and if that works, and if Apple changes anything, I've got to fix it myself instead of just updating the package. But since this is a 30-line piece of code here, maintaining it shouldn't be too much of an overhead. And so things took me a little bit longer because I did that research and then had to build this as well. But so we changed the creation process a little bit. So when you see your list of podcasts and you say that you want to add a new podcast, we now get taken to this intermediate page that allows you to search the iTunes API. You can still skip that and add it manually if you prefer. But so I have got halfway through this. So right now you can search the iTunes database and see a list of your matches. And then the next step will be to actually go and create the record and take you to the edit screen, I think. I still have a little bit to do. The reason I stopped here was that as well as integrating with the iTunes API, I also need to integrate with the RSS feed itself, because some of the information that I want to pull out and auto-complete things like the website URL is actually not in the iTunes feed, it's in the RSS feed itself. So right now, if I search for, let's say, the Indie Hackers podcast, we get a list of the Indie Hackers podcast here. When I hit select, it's actually going to go and download the RSS feed, analyze the RSS feed, pull out the website URL and the description, and then we'll automatically add it to the podcast, and then we'll save it. But I need to import. That one I will use a package for because I'm not parsing RSS feeds myself. But this is all working just based off of this one simple class where we just pass in different values and things like that. So that just another search which you'll get there. So that shows you the search working for whatever term that you want to search for. Since we're never actually done a podcast search for podcasts, I guess the most popular ones are the Joe Rogan Experience. I guess this is some kind of popularity search for podcasts. So I guess if you're interested in that, that's a good way to get the top 100 podcasts according to iTunes. Just search for podcast. And then so you're basically able to select any of these, and we might just make the whole row clickable instead of just that one button at the end. So yeah, that was about all I got done today. Just coding took a little bit longer because I had to build stuff from scratch, which is unfortunate, but that's okay. So tomorrow, I'm going to be just focusing on what happens when you click the select button, which is we're going to be pulling an RSS feed reader. And that's an important one because I'm going to need that in part of the uptime monitoring as well. So that's why I'm spending a little bit extra time on that, do a bit of research, make sure we use one that will work for us to access the RSS feed. And actually we might at some point we're going to think about validating the RSS feed as well. So that's another important bit of the overall application that I think we should keep in mind. So tomorrow I'll be focusing on that, and that's it for now. It was a quick little update, but I think things are progressing well still. So thanks a lot for watching, and I will speak to you tomorrow.